A group of street thugs threw stones at a couple, mocking their silence. But the couple didn't react, they were used to it. The world had never been kind to them. They were deaf-mute, living in their own silent world, resilient and determined. The boy was a janitor. One day, he found a broken surfboard in a pile of trash. He spent an entire night repairing it. And now, he was finally ready. He took his girlfriend to the beach to chase his dream. The autumn wind was chilly, and the seawater was ice cold. But he didn't hesitate. He took off his shirt and stepped into the waves. In his world, there was no sound, no fear. His girlfriend sat on the shore, eyes filled with worry. She knew how much surfing meant to him, but she also feared the cruel sea. A surfer looked at the boy's patched-up board with disdain, but he didn't care. In his world, there was no noise, no ridicule, only the waves, the sky, and his determination. Every evening after work, he practiced at the beach, and every day, the girl sat on the sand, neatly folding his clothes, watching him struggle, fall, and get back up again. She never got tired of it. She loved him, not because he was great, but because he never gave up. But life was never easy for them. The same thugs who had mocked them before followed them to the beach. That day, his surfboard broke. Seeing the boy's disappointment, the girl said nothing. She just held his hand tighter. The next day, they went to a shop, hoping to buy a new surfboard. But even the cheapest one cost 80,000 yen. Far beyond what he could afford. The boy took out his last bit of savings and handed it to his girlfriend. The girl discreetly added some of her own money into his hand, not wanting to hurt his pride. She even used sign language to bargain with the store owner, asking for a 25% discount, but the owner refused. Disappointed, they left, so the boy worked even harder. Finally, payday arrived. This time, he took his girlfriend back to the shop and spent 120,000 yen on a new surfboard. But as soon as they stepped out of the store, they saw the exact same board in another shop for only 98,000 yen. They had been overcharged. Feeling like kids who had been cheated, they left in silence. On their way home, they tried to take the bus, but the driver refused to let them board with the surfboard. The boy signaled for the girl to walk home with him, but this time, she refused. She got on the bus alone. As the doors slowly closed, she looked at him through the window, her heart aching. The city passed by in a blur. She rode past one stop after another, lost in thought. Then suddenly, at a random stop, she jumped off the bus and started running toward him, running toward that lonely figure walking home. When she finally caught up, tears streamed down her face. The boy didn't ask anything. He simply held her in a quiet embrace. Then, hand in hand, they walked home together. Life went on. The girl still accompanied him to the beach every day, but they didn't realize that a storm was brewing in their relationship. One day, another couple appeared on the beach. While the girl went to buy snacks, a stranger, a young woman, sat down beside the boy, handing him a drink and stealing glances at his handsome face. When his girlfriend returned and saw they were holding identical drinks, she felt a pang of jealousy, but she kept it to herself. A few days later, the surf shop owner noticed the boy's dedication. He also overheard people mocking him, saying he was a loser who couldn't even afford a wetsuit. The next day, the owner came to the beach and personally gifted him one, along with an entry form for a surfing competition. It turned out the expensive surfboard wasn't overpriced. The cheap one they had seen was a counterfeit. That night, the boy excitedly filled out the application. On the day of the competition, other contestants arrived in cars, but he and his girlfriend walked a long way to get there. When his turn came, the judge called his name loudly, but he didn't respond. He couldn't hear. The same people who had once mocked him stood by, knowing he was deaf, knowing his name. Yet they chose to stay silent and watch him miss his chance. After the competition, the girl quietly held his hand and left. Then, the surf shop owner appeared. He stopped his car and offered them a ride home. In this world, the boy rarely felt respected, but that day, he did. Under the owner's guidance, his surfing skills improved rapidly, but the other girl kept trying to get close to him. One day, she peeled an orange and handed half to the boy. At that moment, his girlfriend appeared behind them. She said nothing. She just turned and left. From that day on, she never went to the beach again. The boy went to her house, ringing the doorbell again and again. Forgetting that she couldn't hear it, she sat inside, sulking, while he stood outside, sighing in frustration. Finally, he came up with a solution. He stood under her window and tossed his shoe up, hoping she would see it. No response, so he picked up a small stone and gently tapped the glass. Soon, she came running outside. No explanations, no sweet words. She simply chose to believe him, and they made up. came a stormy night, he still insisted on surfing. After work, the girl rushed to the beach, only to find his surfboard washed up on the shore. She knew in her heart that the sea had taken him. She didn't cry. When grief is too deep, tears don't come. There was no panic on her face, because in her heart, she had always known this day would come. From the moment he first stepped into the waves, her days had been filled with fear. That day, on the bus, she silently protested, but in the end, she had still chosen to walk home with him. She had already shed her tears long ago for this farewell. In the end, she took his surfboard to the place where he had once competed. This time, she didn't walk, she took the ferry. She placed their only photo on the surfboard and gently pushed it into the sea, because she knew he belonged to the ocean, to the waves, to that summer, to the silent sea that had always been calling him.